name is Marie-Ève. I'm a solution specialist at Toon Boom. People also know me as a Toon Boom wizard. I go by Marie-Ève, Mel, or also ZeBirdBrain if you follow me on YouTube. And today I am here to interview the amazing Rene Rivers. So, how about you introduce yourself to us, Rene?
Hello.
Okay, so today the topics of the streams are going to be very interesting. So, we're going to talk about the different techniques that you can use to make your project a reality. So, either it's cutout, rigging, hand drawn, these techniques are all great on their own, but they don't have to be on their own. You can mix and match them together just to make your project more efficient.
I'm Rene, and I'm a little guy that comes from the little island of Puerto Rico. I'm gonna even draw it now with this tool because I like it, and you can check Mel on Google how accurate it'll look. Go there. That's my island. That's how it looks.
Okay, Renee, that looks pretty cool, but can you explain to us what you're drawing at the moment? Um, um, yeah, what are you doing right now?
So I'm doing this little sticker animation that'll be part of our server in the shenanigan, ZeBirdBrain shenanigan. And I'm drawing myself as my Shenani right? Cappy the Capybara. And behind Cappy the Capybara, there's gonna be the little superbs, which are little creatures that come over when you do something bad in terms of art wise, and they will remind you that you didn't name your layer right. So yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do today.
So for the viewers who don't know, Renee is pretty cool. He actually has two Emmys. That's pretty cool. And on top of that, he also was an art director for a short project that is really interesting. It was called Slimies, and um, and on top of that, he also did other art direction on other smaller projects. So, can you tell us about art directing and what was your experience with it? Because there's many ways to be an art director. You can art direct on projects that are huge. You can art direct on games and movies, and in your case, it was smaller scale project, but it wasn't less work. It's still a lot of work. And yeah, tell us all about it. Yay!
I feel when it comes to that, where when somebody else takes the art direction role at my job, it's really fun because we get to discover how they like think of things, make reference, which are really important, and it's really unique. Like it's a really unique experience that you need to like try to replicate somebody else's like vision, and sometimes that those visions that you try to replicate for work tend to stick with you. Like for example, growing up, I used to draw a lot of cartoons, and I didn't like stuck with one. And I feel that that was a blessing because I right now, as we speak, I have a little bit of everything that I've learned throughout the years. So trying to go out of your comfort zone will always lead up to you having a new technique for you to use. So I feel that experimenting with different art styles from time to time can lead you to really good results. Embrace your inner child. Like it's very important, especially as we work in the industry. I feel that having our little time on the weekends or maybe a vacation day or two and just do anything like a pet project that you always wanted to do, it's always a blessing and it's always going to lead up to really good stuff.
So in our work field, we have to draw a lot, but sometimes, cutout animation requires a bit less drawing. Rigging needs drawing, but it's a bit different. When it comes to hand drawn and hybrid animation, we draw a lot. So in a way, you have to like doing it. So in your case, how does drawing make you feel? What do you like about it? What do you less like about it? And yeah, let's discuss that subject.
hmm I agree. It's really relaxing. It's always like something that I always look forward to every time I'm done with work. I'm always like, can't wait to sit down with the guys and just, like talk, draw, make silly doodles. It's great. It's great fun. Um, Ghost Mel has been telling me some questions that I'll be answering with y'all. And the question is like, how good has it been for my career? For me growing up, having the knowledge of certain ways and pipelines of drawing and animating. In this case, that includes a little bit of stop motion, a little bit of 3D animation, and cutout nowadays, and hybrid hand drawn as well. And I feel um, having the knowledge of all of that in mind is really important, because if it wasn't because I knew um, basic 3D animation back then, I wouldn't be able to learn how to use the graph. Oh my god, I forgot the word. The I even said it a couple. I blanked out. I'm sorry. The graph editor. Yeah, that's the word. I wouldn't even knew how to use the graph editor in Harmony over here. And be able to do certain things with the curves, which are the ones over here. They're really useful when it comes to cutout and animation. Um, would also include that my classes with rigging in 3D were very rough for me to learn, and they were very chaotic. But that um, base that those classes gave me led up for me to fall in love in how rigging works in Harmony. I'm still have a long ways to go, but I'm really enjoying the journey. It's really great. Um, and yeah, like certain pipelines like blocking in 3D can also lead up for really good results with cutout. And yeah, like vice versa. When it comes to drawing, normally when I'm doing like a little bit of 3D animation, I normally draw the key poses. Then I like put it on the side as a reference, and then I pose my character very nicely. So it's like a um depends on the task, but I'm always like using both of them at the same time. And that the same goes with storyboard, with stop motion. Um, but yeah.
So Renee and I have been working a lot on little side projects on top of our work, after hours because we like to do art. So we do lots of small projects. But a lot of the time, these small projects, the pay is not really high. So we have to make the best out of it. So if a gig doesn't pay you an astronomical amount of money, then you have to cut corners and find ways to make it easier on yourself. One of these ways that me and Renee found is to combine cutout and rigging. No, to combine cutout and hand-drawn animation and rigging to create what we call hybrid animation. So it's not quite rigged, it's not quite cut out, and it's not quite hand-drawn. It's a bit of everything. So that is also what you used in your pilot called. No, this is also what you use in the pilot you worked on called Slimies. So, why do you think it's important to learn all these different mediums in terms of techniques? So, in our case, hand drawn, cutout, and rigging. Why is it so important to not isolate yourself into one?
Yeah, like in the pilot, we did everything mostly hybrid hand drawn. But then once we got like a nomination for the Emmy, and I had a good hunch that it was gonna be like it would take the award home. I was like, I'm gonna try and animate this in 3 days. But based on my like on the timeline to deliver this, I just winged it and decided to make like very simple rigs of the characters, and I was able to animate. I think the only thing that I only did hand drawn was the mouth, like this mouth sync, lip syncing. Everything else was like a very like simple rig and very simple shapes. So yeah, like I feel that especially with Harmony's tools, it's super useful and super quick to make really simple stuff and make them really nice, especially with the with the stencil brush. That's one of my favorite tools right now. You can add textures that conform on the rig, and they look so nice. Makes me so happy every time I use it.
So, Renee, what are some tools that you really love to use in Harmony? What are some of your favorites for your pipeline? And were they useful when you were doing hand drawn and cutout animation?
A little bit of rigging, a little bit of hand drawn and hybrid stuff. So I'm gonna showcase to you guys this little trick that I normally use. It'll be a combination of rigging tools. It'll be a combination of the stencil brush, and yeah, follow me. We're gonna take this guy because I like him. He's like, "Mm." So we're gonna take this little guy and we're gonna clean them up. So join me. If you have any questions, I'll be here listening. I mean, reading them. But yeah, so first of all, what I do is I start cleaning with the pencil tool, and I'll use one of my favorite tools, which is the cutter. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, whoopsie. Okay, there we go. Okay, so normally when you're cleaning up, you might encounter this, right? So for me, the solution would be select your, oh, whoops, select your little thingies over here and make sure that the tip, right, should be rounded. So let's go over here on your tool properties and you put them rounded. In order to not be able to do that ever again for future reference, let me go back as well and do the example again, right? So go to your cutter tool. And if you don't want to have those jagged lines again, go over here and put them style round. So you don't have to go back on the tool properties and do it with that. And that'll save you a couple minutes. So if I cutter here, you can see that it's rounded. Okay. So that's a little lesson, a quick lesson. Woo! Okay, so let me make the eyes. Purples. And we're gonna paint them. Boop, boop. Okay. Look at this guy. Wonderful.
You're doing amazing, Rene.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's select the color. These guys are yellow. They're like mustard yellow. I like this color. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this, and there's a shortcut. The shortcut is Shift 8. So when I press Shift 8, normally my line information will go to the color layer. As you can see here, everything's here. There's one line that it didn't pass. So let me fix that, which is this one. So Shift 8. Okay. So now every line is here. But as you can see here closely, oh, it closed. Okay. For a moment, I thought it was open. But if anything, if welcome back. If this is not open,
Welcome back. Let me try to set you up.
If this line was open, go to the close gap and then do this. Okay. All right. Let's paint this little guy. Okay. So normally when I'm working with rigging, I like to do things a little bit lineless. It's more fun. So I'm gonna take their lines out. And here we have our superb. And this superb needs a little bit of a division. Yes, yes. Hmm. Yep. Yeah. So for anybody that that wants to keep their lines, you can also add by the it's over here on the side. I have line and color layer, but Harmony has many other layers that you can use, right? There's the overlay and there's the underlay. You can always put it on the overlay in case you need to save your line art for uh, a future use. Woo! Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of like a shade over here. I'm gonna go over here. And when I like to use the stencil brush, I try to move the alpha a little bit down so it's not too powerful the stroke. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go stencil brush. Make sure that you have overlay because if you do repaint, I can show you what happens, but let's go to overlay first, and you can see the result over here. One of my favorite brushes is the brush and cloth. No, my favorite. Yeah, my favorite one is brush and cloth. So I'm gonna go here. Well, I'm gonna go my drawing on my coloring layer in order for this to work. And here we go. We have a little of shade for a little superb guy.
All right, yeah, this is a very cool feature. So Renee, what are your favorite thing about Harmony's color palettes? Because we could talk about it for ages, but I want to know what you like.
The good thing about the palette with Harmony and Storyboard Pro at the same time is that you're able to manage and move these colors that you worked on to another, basically another file that you're working. So, for example, if I'm working, on a shot, and I'm like, okay, person, you need to use these colors. I'm gonna send you the file. Either I can send them a zip or a template or any kind of that. They just put it on their folder, and it's gonna appear immediately. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things. And if it doesn't, you can always import from the menu over there on the side. Okay, right here. Import. It's great. I love it. It's so seamless. It's so fun. The other thing that I really like about the palette is that I can go over here and I can change it seamlessly. Woo! Okay, put it around here. So if you're not happy with your color, you can change it. It's all good. Okay. All right. Let's put green lips to the superb because this one has green lips. There. Okay. So we have our superb and we're gonna rig it. All right. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna do a little ribbon. This, and voila! It's dancing for all of us. Yay! So that's a way of rigging a simple character, and we can always like make sure everything's all good. And if we want to add more stuff, then we need to like divide the layers, divide the head, so nothing crazy to happens, and all that stuff. But if you want to do only one drawing layer kind of deal, this is a really cool workaround for this little guy. So I'm gonna have it here. I'm gonna save it over here. Make sure everybody, especially if you're working right now, save your progress because you don't want to lose any of your sweet progress. But if you're a person that is always looking for ways to save your progress really fast, go over here to edit, go to preferences, and over here in general, it's really lovely that Toon Boom put it over here. Like the first thing, you have this autosave, and I have it every. Hmm. Hmm. I have it for 5 minutes. Some people put it for 10. Some people put it for any other kind of time. And yeah, like there's also a little button that asks you before saving. Normally, I like the program to do it for myself and don't ask questions. Just I'm saving for you, and I'm like, thank you. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Let's read the comments. All right. Alrighty. So Ghost Mel is telling me that she loves what I did with the little superb guy. And I'm gonna say thank you. I like it too. Look how cute this little guy is. I like him. I want 10 million plushies of him. I want a shirt. I want everything. Like especially this one. This one is like me. I love him. Okay. Let me save this little guy. Boop. And we're gonna continue coloring. I'm gonna show you guys I'm gonna continue coloring. I'm gonna show you guys some other ways that I use the stencil brush, which I really like. But I also would like to show you an example of another way of using the stencil brush that could be really useful for certain instances, or maybe not. So, okay, so let me get a normal brush. And like I mentioned earlier, there's the overlay in the repaint brush, right? If I put repaint and I do the same that I did with this little guy, let's say, let's get this color and let's make it a little bigger. Um, as you can see here, the color that I used for this part like overtook the original drawing. So that means if I delete this, it'll take everything in that drawing. This could be useful for certain things, but for the most part, overlay could be much useful for shadows and other things like texture that a character should be, like having specifically. So always have in mind and make sure that when you're doing your little cleanup sessions and coloring sessions, make sure that you use overlay for those specific things and the repaint one for other things. Woo! Okay, let's continue with little copy. Okay. Normally when I'm working, some people go to their layers, right, and they look for their names in order for cleanup or drawing. Normally, this is like a little thing that I do. If I'm working with something that I really want to jump into, normally I just go to the line layer and I use the transform tool, and literally that jumps me to the layer. Make sure that once you're done clicking that, you can always like get the tool that you're using instead of moving because they could move something. But if sometimes if you have a file that has a lot of layers, I always like to use that one. So I make sure that I'm in the right layer. Woo! Okay, let's see.
My other inquiry for you would be wait, how do I word this? Okay, yeah, we're talking about the different. We were talking about like different art style in animation and whatnot. Maybe you can take a little moment to talk as you're drawing, like talk about like the importance of like taking chances, because all the chances you don't take are chances that you will never have, right? Oh my god, they hear me! They hear me! Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question again very loudly because they hear me but faintly. So the question is that we were talking about like trying different mediums, trying different styles, but there's one very important thing. Oh my god, I can be heard now. Yay! I am still a wizard though. So the question is that were there some times when you got asked to do a job and you didn't master said medium? So maybe you were doing hand drawn or you know how to do cut up. Like somebody asked you a job that you were not like quote unquote qualified for,
Yep.
but you still took it. Like did it ever happen?
It has happened a couple times. I feel
I know
that when
it
it comes
did,
to
but now you have to tell us
animation,
about it.
when it comes to animation, I'm pretty sure everybody around here, listening or around here with me, they have encountered similar situations, and sometimes doubt can fog us and make us like question, but sometimes it's the key for us to jump and end up learning something that you might not
Ooh,
expect,
that's a good point. You're
right?
right.
Mm-hmm. I've been in situations that people have told me, "Oh, you got to help me do concept art for a movie, concept art for a series." So I've been able to do character design. I've been able to do environments and stuff like that. And I might not be the best background artist or character designer, but once you get your references and once you get to talk with the director and what they want, you can always find the the correct way to do certain things for that project. Um, the other things that I've done like that are learning After Effects when I finished college. I remembered my professor was like, "Can you do VFX?" And I'm like, "I've never done it, but I'm willing to try." And he's like, "Yeah, you'll learn it in a week." And I did. I spent like 2.5 months doing VFX for a movie. Um, and something that I like rotoscoping. Like I never thought in my life I would be doing rotoscoping, but I did. And the same goes for 3D. Like I was mostly trained in 2D animation, but when I got given the chance to do 3D animation, I just closed my eyes. I took a deep breath, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. It was rocky. It was really hard, But you're able to do it once you put your goals straight and make sure that you want to do a good job. You're able to do most everything. The same goes with right now nowadays with me learning rigging and cutout with harmony. I've been like doing my little test. I've been doing little freelance gigs, especially with you for the grums. That's
Yeah.
also like a big opportunity for me when it comes to learning cutout animation. So yeah, like sometimes you might find yourself that you're not able to do it, but sometimes you need a little push
You need
from
help.
yourself or for.
You can ask for help.
Hmm.
People always want to. Well, most people
Exactly.
want to help.
Hmm. There's always going to be people that are willing to help, and if you don't find them immediately, you can always find resources. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to find somebody that will be knowledgeable about that subject, and they're going to teach you or show you properly. So yeah, like I feel that don't doubt yourself about things that you haven't tried, because I do it all the time. Like I'm always like doubting myself, but then once I try it, it's like boom, amazing,
Oh, you know
and I
what's
did
fun
it,
also
and
with
then
that?
you feel proud.
Oh, no,
Hmm.
go for it. Go for it. You were gonna say something.
No, 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 that no, I was just saying that you'll feel proud of yourself once you finish that thing that's been haunting you for a good while. Okay, now I'm done.
Yeah, and to on the same subject as well. In our case, one of the things that made us explore new horizon often is the work we do for Game Grumps, because they hire us to do very small bits of animation from 8 to 10 seconds to like max a minute. So
Hmm.
since it's very small format, we took it upon ourselves to try a new art style every time. And for us it's
Hmm.
a small contract job, but you can do that for other things, like maybe if you want to join a 48 hours of animation contest or something, or event, or maybe you want to do a blitz with your friend, be like, okay, well, during the weekend we do a project, so make something short and sweet and just try different style. That can be fun. um
Hmm.
Trying different style can also maybe make a low paying gig a bit better. um
Hmm.
So yeah, trying things can be both fun, rewarding, and useful.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah. And let me see what you're up to, because it looks so nice. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, because many mediums have different advantages and things that are less great about them. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, or like just um, feel free to add. But one thing that really struck me by being a generalist, because in our case that's what we are.
Hmm.
Um, it's whenever I worked, even if I'm not an expert at stop motion, I've done my fair bits of it growing up. Um, I was a 3D animator for years before I switched back to 2D. I've done paper, and even if I'm not a master of any of those, just the fact that I tried the other ones usually open your mind to so much other opportunities and ideas. It's like learning languages. You might not learn
Yep.
everything about the language, but for me, at least, and for you too, because we know multiple languages. Sometimes, okay, I'm gonna go on a tangent with this, but it's also it also applies to animation. But when you learn different languages or different skills,
Hmm.
sometimes when it comes to languages, there are some words that just don't exist in your language or way of thinking. But when you learn another way of another language, this other way of thinking goes into it. So maybe it's just the order that the words are in, or some languages don't have like genders on words. Some languages don't have the same time, um, the time notions of others. So some languages don't have many past tense for verbs or future or something. And just like
Yeah.
learning all these languages makes you think so differently because you have access to multiple different things. What I think is the same for art. Knowing different
I
techniques
agree.
changes the way
Hmm.
you see your main technique.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I mentioned earlier today, having knowledge about 3D has helped me a lot when it came to going back to rigging in Harmony and doing cutout, because there's certain things that they share, like the graph editor, the curves, like all of that are very similar to what 3D offers. Obviously the pipeline can be a little bit different, but it always shares certain terminologies and certain things that they always like um like meet in the middle, basically. Like like blocking, it's normally what we find in 2D animation as rough animation, and splining would be like an equivalent to inking over here, or polishing, or tie up, tie downs, yeah, tie downs. So it's like they always like relate to each other, and I feel that most people that are able to, like, they know how to animate in 3D, they can. And I've done this test with other people. I met people that they don't draw at all, but they are amazing 3D animators. And when I taught them how to use Harmony's cutout tools, they were able to animate something really nice. And I was like, that's really interesting. Like they were able to transfer their knowledge from 2D into 2D, and it was seamless. So I feel that most things relate to each other, just like how you mentioned with language as well.
That is so cool. Oh, and
Yeah.
you mentioned liking textures earlier. And the good thing is that at the moment you're working with the pencil. And I think when we
Hmm.
talk about mastering different styles and different mediums and whatnot, I think the pencil is one of the best tool to do for that, because at the moment you don't have line weight and you don't have texture. It's just a pure vector look. But can you show what happens if you take the select tool and select the lines and give them a texture?
Can you repeat that last part?
Can you show us what it does if you take the select tool, select all your lines,
Of
and
course.
give them a
Yeah.
texture?
So this is what happens, right? Normally, when it comes to this, I go to the select by color tool, and this selects everything from that color, which is really useful. And the other one over here is really useful if
Palette.
you want to change certain.
Oh no, I was talking about the line art, the pencil
Oh,
line art. But you can show that later. Keep going on your bit. It was very interesting.
yeah. Yes, it's just like you're able to change color easily like that. For the line art, I can show you over here. Um, the good thing about the line art is that you're able to like mold it however you like. That's why I really like. Normally, when it comes to illustration, I prefer Harmony over most drawing programs, because what I do is like I'll do a sketch on my phone and then I put it over here and clean it up, because the anchor point system, everything, the bevels and stuff like that, it's so fun to use. And like you can always like go over here to your hold on, to your library. You can also change a bunch of wonderful things. Let me see if I can show you guys another texture brush over here. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, like charcoal. Whoops. Okay, let's go here. Yeah,
No,
there we
there,
go.
down there, at the
Oh,
bottom.
yes, yes, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
and
the
you can
select by
change them.
color selection thing is so useful for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if anything, you want to add like a very crusty or maybe something more experimental, you can always change it seamlessly. So that's something that I really appreciate with charcoal. I like charcoal, but I'm gonna go with rough because it feels more choppy for me. So let me change every line now to that. Actually, let me do this.
Or you can use select by
Whoop!
color.
Yep, that's like the one that I was talking about. Okay, so select by color selects everything from your color. It explains by itself. Whoop. Ah, hold on. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Look at this little guy.
Hey
Lovely.
Renee,
Okay.
you're lucky. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Someone in the chat is asking, how did you manage to do a clipping mask thing with the painting when the painting contact shadows on the bottom part of the body? So, we had trouble at the beginning because we didn't have audio. So, would you mind telling us again about your favorite tool and how it works?
Yes. So presenting my favorite tool from Harmony at the moment, it's the stencil brush. Um, so this has been available for a good while, but it's been part of the little toolbar over here since 21, if I'm correct. Harmony 21. So the stencil brush is a really useful tool because it can work as a mask kind of deals. So you don't have to go to your node view and create a color to node and a bunch of stuff like that. You can still do that, but if it is for something similar for hybrid animation, something quick that you need to do, the stencil brush is your best friend, and it is my best friend right now. So um, I'm gonna go with this color, right? Normally, when it comes to stencil brush, I normally select like a darker color, and then over here, I put the color, like the alpha, a little bit down, like right around the middle. So I'm able to, if I keep like moving the brush, it'll get like a little bit darker, but on other sides, it'll be like a little bit more blended, like a painting. So I have it like this, right? And I put it like a little bit darker. Okay, so remember to always divide your colors with the line layer, and the color layer. Okay. So I'm gonna select the stencil brush. I'm gonna go down my tool properties. I'm gonna make sure that it's overlay instead of repaint. Okay. I'll explain repaint again. But with overlay, what it does is it works like a little mask and makes it like really lovely to put. Okay. But if you forget that you had overlay and you selected repaint, um, this happens. And once that happens and I delete it, it'll take a chunk of poor copies.
Oh no,
So we don't want that. We don't want
the
poor
butt is
copy
near
to be
disappearing.
yeah. I don't. We don't want copy be buttless. So always put it, always put it on overlay. Okay. So that's how you're able. Right now is like getting like a more lighter color for certain parts. So let's do it over here. There you go. Let's put it over here too. I love this tool, and when it comes to most of my rigs that I've been working on, and especially with when me and Z and Mel worked together to doing the crab grumps, we implemented that. That was like the first instance that I put that kind of stencil brush to use, and I'm really thankful that you showed me how to do that. So yeah, thank you for your question.
And I see you're doing the capybara with the hand-drawn method. And you're gonna do,
Mhm.
well, I mean, you've been doing the superbs, which are the little yellow creature, with the rigging. And I think that's one of the best way a hand-drawn animator can start to learn and dabble into cutout. Because people need to stop thinking that cutout and rigs is just these crazy like master controller rigs with like rotating head and what. No, this is not what rigging is about. Like rigging can be as simple as I have a little creature and I want to make it dance. Instead of wasting time carefully doing in betweens of it dancing, you can just look at it. It's dancing right now. It's so great.
Mhm.
And yeah, so if you're a hands-on animator and you want to dabble a little bit into rigging, what the Rene slash Cappy here and I suggest is do a little hand-drawn animation and find where the little cutout bits like that could be helpful to you. It was so funny. I think we had a friend the other day who animated a little creature on a plate, and the creature
Yes.
had legs, and
Mhm.
they did the legs with little deformers, and they moved a fork picking the creature with a peg,
And
which was so cool.
yeah, and that would be something like I would calculate that would take me maybe like minimum 2 to 3 hours. But with that technique, they did it in 10 minutes, and it was so good. It was so
It
fun.
was so
They
funny.
had so much fun. They had so much fun making it.
Yeah. Oh, that project is looking great. I love it. Oh, hello. I think our friend Rene left. Oh no.
We lost him. Oh.
I think my internet died. Hello?
Hi, Renee. We hear you. You're still live.
Okay. Okay. I thought my internet died for a second.
I think we lost Mel, though.
Oh no. Well, anybody that has questions, make sure to put it in the comment section.
Hello,
I'll
are we
be here
back? Are we
reading
back?
them. There's many other ways that I could, explain something. Let me know.
Oh, I hear
hope
you.
everybody's
Hello,
having
Rene.
fun.
I think we all got blacked out for
Hi.
a second.
Yeah, I got scared. I was like, oh no, I hear silence. Where am I?
Well, in the meantime, I have a very important news for everyone in the chat. So, Toon Boom, Toon Boom is going to have their wonderful ambassador program coming real soon. You know, the ambassador program is what we do each year to try and help our community and to have to give our artists some visibility and to get like a good pulse of the industry and stuff. And we have a program called the Ambassador Program, in which you can apply. You can just send us a reel and some information. We'll have a link in the chat that you can click on. But basically, you can apply to be an ambassador, and this will give us access to the software, maybe help us beta test a few features, and if we ever need help, we can ask. And if we have like little gigs and freelance and stuff, it's a very nice community to be part of. So we encourage you to apply. And on the same note, we also have our wonderful show reel that's going to have applications open. So if you want to show your cool stuff on our cool show reel for next year, I think we have up to like the start of January to send in your reel. So for the ambassador program, you should check it out around now, because I think we are taking the applications. If it's not at the moment, it's very, very soon. So keep looking out for that. And for the show reel, we are also taking application up until January, like beginning of January. So I wanted to. There you go. So the deadline for the ambassador program is January 15, and the deadline for the show reel is January 16. So both of them aim for like half of January. And we're looking forward to seeing all your stuff. And Rene will tell you, being an ambassador is kind of neat. Or he won't tell you because he's not there. Oh no, Rene lost that scene. And also I want to thank everyone who's in the chat and that was there. We got some very lovely questions, and oh my god, he's back. Look at the smiley thing.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah. So what I would like to end the note and the stream with today is oops, I'm just gonna look at the chat. Apparently I sound like a robot. Oh no. I'll restart. In the meantime, Rene, can you tell us about we were gonna talk about like you miss every chances you don't take. We talked about it a bit before, and one of them is maybe applying for ambassador program. So you can tell people about your experience applying for it, because you had to make a reel for it and stuff. So that was a big thing. You can tell them about that. I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. Well, good old Mel is gonna come back. restart her mic, I can talk to you about my experience with the ambassador program, which is a really wonderful opportunity that Toon Boom offers. I really like it. I have met a lot of good people that are also ambassadors, and it was really nice because this year I got to be alongside with really good friends. So yeah, it's wonderful. You can also like as part of the ambassador program, you're going to be part of the Discord in Toon Boom, right? And you're going to be able to have special channels to talk with other ambassadors and be able to meet up. And you're going to be able to have beta testing so you can try some new features. When it comes to creating the new reel, I took stuff that I've worked on for the past year, and it was really fun because 2 years ago I submitted, but I didn't got in. But this year I did because my reel got updated. So if you have done it in the past, don't feel discouraged because Toon is always looking, and they are gonna see the improvement that you've shown as well. I've done a lot of hand drawn in this past year, so that's why they called me to be part of the ambassador program this year. So it's been really helpful, and I've been able to do wonderful talks like this that I'm doing right now with all of you. So don't be shy. Make sure to enter, and I hope to see your name next year.
Yeah, that was a very wholesome answer. And I want to thank you again for taking the time to come here and bearing with our technical difficulties. Being a ghost was a very fulfilling experience. I'm not sure I want to do it again, but it was fun. And if I have to, I will do it again. And thank you for being such a good sport and to giving us this wonderful interview. It was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It was really fun.
Do you have any last words, Mr. Rene?
I'm gonna say Spanish and English, and I'm gonna start with English. Thank you everybody for joining. I hope everybody had fun, and yeah, keep on animating, my friends. And gracias por asistir, lo aprecio mucho y sigan animando, mis amigos. Se me cuidan.
And also, I think in the near future, I know you want to have a little YouTube channel where you want to do some little videos in Spanish and stuff. So if there's any Spanish-speaking people in the audience, stay tuned and watch out for little capybara maybe coming soon to your screen.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully by next year you're gonna see more tutorials coming from me. It'll be in Spanish and it'll be wonderful times. And yeah, come learn with me.
All right. And with that, I guess we're going to tell you all bye-bye and see you next time.
Bye bye.